Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Journey into Real Estate interview. This week, I got Justice Pang with me, who just hit a big milestone that we'll talk about and has had an amazing run since joining us here at EXP. But I wanted to start by kind of going back to the beginning, and because it's about the journey and talking about kind of where you're from and what you were doing prior to real estate. So what's your story, Justice?
Hey everyone, I'm Justice Pang here. I reside on the east side of the Big Island. Born and raised on the east side. I graduated from Hilo High School, and prior to real estate, I did 8 years of waitressing. So serving the community, that kind of background, building the skills that I need to connect with everyone. Haven't lived anywhere else besides the Big Island my entire life. Spent a short time in Massachusetts, but other than that, island girl.
And how old are you?
I'm 25 years old.
That's my favorite part. so like the waitressing thing, do you think that directly, I mean, aside from like the communication part of it and servicing people, do you think those relationships have benefited you in real estate?
Absolutely. I'm always that girl that's like I was in Target the other day, and they're like, oh my God, you're the Zippies girl. And I'm like, it's been so many years. What do you mean, Zippies girl? But yeah, I think just, the familiar face, and then Hilo's so small. So all the aunties and uncles, they always support, they're advocating for me.
I love it. So what made you get the idea that, okay, I should get my real estate license and go into real estate?
So my auntie actually was a realtor, and she suggested it to me. A bunch of customers that came into Zippies suggested it to me. Grace Reinhardt, she used to come in and eat with her clients every Tuesday, and just seeing that kind of nature and like, oh my God, what is that about? So it interests me. Got my auntie on the phone, told her what I'm thinking about doing, and she was like, you better go for it. And so I just went ahead and did it.
So you didn't have any of those like self-doubts, like you're too young or you didn't know anything about it? I mean,
no, I absolutely did. I mean, anyone who was in my life during that time that I was taking my test, they had to talk me into it every day because it was so easy to just waitress. I mean, my husband and I had already had a house. We've already gotten married. We were kind of what we thought was established. We were like, oh, we're living the life, and we're making good money. And then it was easy to get stuck in that. But I knew I wanted something more. And, with God's help, I ended up getting there.
I love it. So what did that look like year one? You get your license, you get you pass your test, and you activate. And how was the first year?
So I got my license mid 2019. So from May 2019 to December.
Worst possible time to get started, right?
Horrible. Nothing. Nobody wanted to talk to me. Now I had plenty of people who were like, I'm going to use you when I'm ready. I'm going to use you when I'm ready. But I didn't have the knowledge to give them. So I was just that agent that was like, hey, I'm new. Take a chance on me. So that 6 months, I spent so much time trying to learn from people and trying to understand what is it when you're a realtor, because it's way more than just making sales, right? There's so much you have to do. So that 6 months while I was salesless, I guess, I spent time studying. And then once 2020 hit, it just, in my opinion, took off. So my first full year, I did 2.6 million. That was 21 transactions. So lots of land deals. And during that time, the prices were way lower. So there was some new builds in there, and I got to learn a lot during that year.
Yeah, that's a lot of transactions for 2 million in sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of
I was getting those land deals.
And so where were you getting your information from? Like when you say study, like what were you doing? You're on YouTube. Where are you getting this information from?
I was obsessed with Tom Ferry.
Okay.
Obsessed. I love him so much. What he says is true in my opinion,
Yeah.
But he taught me, and then social media. Anyone who was a guru on social media, whether their information benefited me or not, I listened to it, and then I took it, and then I confirmed if it's true or not, or if it applies in Hawaii, and then that's how it stuck.
I love it. That's the perfect example of all the information you need to be successful is like on the internet, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I mean, people are always looking. I think they overcomplicate it, and they think they're gonna find like somebody here who's going to sit them down in a class and actually train them and stuff. And really, you're lucky if that happens, but the internet's always available to us.
Yeah, so, it's a free mentor, the internet.
Totally. Yeah. And then, so you get through year one, and that's what mid 2021.
So that was just 2020 in general. I kind of didn't do sales at first 6 months. I just threw 2020 in one.
And were you still waitressing at the time?
I was.
Okay.
I was
So-
in that dry storage, emailing, calling people.
So at what point did you say, okay, I can quit my job and do this full time?
I believe it was March 2021, but we had that COVID, so we shut down the restaurant.
Oh, so you had to find something else to do.
Well, I got to do like the unemployment situation.
Okay.
And they were giving like $1,600 a week at that time. So I was like, this is, So I got to do that for a little while, plus real estate. And I think that was like a huge help, because in the back of my mind, I was like, okay, money's all right. Let's just go all out. And then, yeah.
That's a great lesson learned for, a lot of people during that time. Just took the unemployment money, went to the beach, sat around, didn't do anything, where you really capitalized and leveraged that opportunity, turned it from something that could have been a struggle into a blessing, and then into another career. So I love that mindset, that mentality, how you did that.
Yeah, I'm so glad I did that. It would have been really easy to just cruise that year, because everyone was cruising, When is it where all your friends and all your family's off of work?
Right.
Right? And then you're over here trying to work more.
Yeah. Hey, that's the difference, right? Between the people that achieve big things and the people that don't. So I love that. Okay. So then you're cruising through 2011, right? Or 2021, and we end up meeting at the end, right? Like towards the end, maybe October, something like that.
Yeah, October is when I called you, just before Halloween.
Yeah. Okay, so you remember. Yeah, it's like I don't even remember the dates exactly.
But time in my career.
Okay, and what sparked that phone call, or what sparked your interest?
So from 2020 through 2021, things started picking up, social media started picking up, and as you already know, it happened to you. Lots of brokerages are like, hey, Justice, hey, you want to come to my brokerage? Hey, I can do this for you. Nonstop calls, and they're super awesome, because I loved everyone that I work with on the east side. I have to work it more on the west side, but on the east side, I fell in love with a lot of relationships. And but I couldn't make the move. I was like, no, it doesn't make sense to me. My split, everything at my old brokerage was just great, And then me and Ivy were talking story one time, and she was like, EXP, and I was like, I saw this guy, Dylan Nonaka, Kelsey Mack told me about him, and he never called us. We were like, he never reached out to us. So one day I was like, Ivy, I'm gonna make the call. So I called you, and then you were like, we were just sitting here saying, we need East Side agents, and like, I think you put me on speaker. You're like, hey everyone, Justice just called. It was awesome. It felt like it was meant to be.
I just used that example yesterday at that YPN Millionaire Mindset talk about having intentions, right? Like if you don't really have a focused intention on what you want to do, then the universe doesn't know, right? God doesn't know, and sometimes that's all it takes. It's crazy. It can seem like magic and hocus pocus, but I mean this has happened so many times in my life that it just, I don't ever take it for granted. But that was one of those times where we're literally sitting in a conference room brainstorming about, we were generating all these leads on the east side, and we needed more help, and we're like, who can we call? Who can we reach out to? And like literally, the phone rang and it was you, and I was like, man, this is crazy. But yeah, definitely meant to be. So and to speak to that, that's always been my mindset with recruitment and attraction, right? Is I don't really want to recruit, I'd rather attract. And to me, the right people, and you and Ivory are perfect examples of this. Like the people who call around and try and sell you on something, maybe you can convince them because you got a good sales pitch, but are they a right fit culturally, attitude wise, mindset wise? They may or may not be, you don't really know. But when they identify what you're doing and they want to be a part of it and they call you, it's like, it's almost guaranteed, right? It's almost guaranteed it's going to work out. It's going to be a good relationship. And it's just a better way to me to grow and do business. And the right people will be attracted to the right situation, right? So you're a perfect example of that. So yeah, super stoked. Okay, so you've been...
I think I told you that Instagram, like before I called you, I think I was like, hey, I was stalking your Instagram. I think I literally told you that. And you were doing videos every single 3 days. And I was like, that's what I do. Like, you know what I mean? I believe so much in that, is putting out content, putting out knowledge. So I think before I even called you, I was like, sold.
I love it. Okay, so you make the switch in late 21, and how has it been since?
So, I mean, my numbers doubled. 2021, the full year, I did 5.7. the first 6 months of 2022, 8.7.
So over 50% more than you did the entire year prior.
Yeah, since moving with EXP, I mean, everything just doubled. The clients, the prices of homes, you know, the database, and you know, the friends. That's what doubled or tripled most, and you know, that's why I'm most happy with my move.
I love it. That's great. The people, right? Totally.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're gonna talk next about so this was big news, something that I'm just so proud and excited about, that in our company we have what's called the Icon Award, and all companies have a recognition for top producers in their company, and in our company it's called the Icon Award. And what you got to do is you got to reach the company cap, which is around 2.8 million in sales, and then you have to sell 20 more properties on top of that. And only about 2% of the population in the whole company is 83,000 agents in the company actually do that. So it's really elite and really exclusive. And the cool thing is you get your cap back in stock. So like in this company, all agents are an owner. And so, you know, you're basically the maximum benefit. You're not getting a trophy, and you will get a trophy actually. You will get a trophy in the mail, but that's not all you get, right? You get additional equity in the company. And you did that in, well, June is when you actually hit the production requirement, right? So crazy, right? So we're talking about November was like your first official month, right?
Yeah.
So we're talking like in 9, not even 8 months, you make this production requirement and achieve Icon. And so super congratulations. I mean, just amazing achievement. And I did it for the first time last year. And you know, my goal last year, I told you guys, was I want to have, you know, 3 more in the next year, and you're the first one. So you're the first one that's working towards that goal. But yeah, so tell me about that. I mean, how does it feel? Like, I mean, is it, you know, what's your takeaway on that? Can you? I mean, I know because you set it as a goal, right? I know you told me that back in December when we did our goal setting and business planning. So
it feels so surreal, you know, when you say only 2% make it, instantly a lot of minds think, okay, well, that ain't me, you know, put that out the door and we'll just move on over here. But when you told me, I think you told me that last year and I talked about my goal, you were like, no, only 2% make it, you can do it. Like, you didn't have no doubts in me. You're like, yeah, you're gonna do it. No worries about that. I was like, what? So it feels surreal. It feels crazy. I was sitting down yesterday thinking about kind of all my deals that led up to that. And it doesn't feel like a blur, but it just feels like all I did was put in work, and there's nothing more than that. There's nothing more, there's nothing less. I woke up, I put in work, you know, God has blessed me, clients have blessed me, advocates. So getting to that point, I think that was 50% God, or all God, and then 50% hard work. You have to do the hard work, that's why, right? But the feeling is just unbelievable. I'm so happy, I'm so proud. My dad called me yesterday morning. He doesn't even know what icon is, and he's like, I'm so proud of you, you're an icon. I'm like, Dad,
you're right, Dad, you're right.
To become an icon. He's like, I saw on Instagram, you're an icon. So it's something so awesome, and it makes me feel good that I can tell my past clients and my future clients, like, I did what 2% could do, and I'm here for you. You know, you're my person, I'm your agent. I can bring you tons of knowledge. So just having that backing, I think, is super duper cool. And
like in your second full year in the business, right? Mm-hmm. Really being dedicated. And that's what I love about it, is the inspiration and the example that it sets for other people who think, I got to do this for a long time. It's going to take me a really long time. I got to gain all this experience. And really, it's all a limiting mindset, right? If you're like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go hard and I'm going to make it happen. Like, you don't need experience, you don't need age, you don't need any of this other stuff, all these limiting beliefs. And that's just what's so cool about you being the first is that you're leading the way stronger than, you know, anybody. There's no excuses now for anybody, right? And I love that. So
there really is. I hear a lot of people saying, like, you know, if you got into the market this past 2 years, it was easy for you. Tell that to the realtors who only sold 2 properties last year and they tried, you know. Mm-hmm. No, you gotta put in the hard work. You have to. And you know, you're gonna reap success from it.
So what are your routines look like? You know, like when you talk about you gotta put in the work, like mm-hmm. What does your day look like? What does your week look like? Because I know you have some good routines.
Yeah. So, Google Calendar is my life. Color code it. Don't use the basic colors. Make it aesthetic, make it pretty, make it something you want to see every day. I invested a lot into my surroundings. I love my office. I feel comfortable in it. Um, when I talk to people, and I know you're like this too, you get to the point. Of course, with clients, you have to hold hands a little bit or, explain a little more, but don't waste your time with like dead end conversations. Make sure you know how to weed out who you're talking to, what your goal is, and kind of get to the point. So, like, one of the things that I love to do every day is I try to pre-approve one person every day. I'm not a lender, I can't pre-approve them, but I can pre-approve them. You're working, you have 2 years of W-2s, you have all these pre-qualifications that can get you to my lender. I want to talk to one of those people a day. I don't care if you're going to buy in 2 years or 5 years. You're today's person, and tomorrow's going to be a new person. Getting them to their pre-qualification, and then, as you already know, buyers become sellers. So we got that kind of happening.
That's such a golden nugget that I love that you pre-approve them, right? Your lending partners must love you because you're not just sending them every single Yahoo. I mean, like if you're gonna send them to them, you've done a basic level of evaluation that they're not gonna waste the lender's time, right? Because you don't want to waste anybody's time in this business, right? You want to be making sure you're respecting everybody's time. So that's great. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I'm the best person to tell my client, now it's not the time. They don't want to come to me and then go to Mana, and Mana's like, oh, bad news. They're going to associate Mana with bad news. When I can already tell you, if you don't have a job, this is what we got to do. If the pre-qualification, this is what we have to do. And they're comfortable with me. And then they don't have to go and, use up Mana's time. Mana can use her time pre-qualifying everyone else. And then me and that person can work on it. So building that trust, right?
And another thing that you do with your lending partner is homebuyer seminars, right? This is something that a lot of people don't do. So let's talk about that. I mean, what gave you the idea to start that? What do you get out of that?
So Mana and I, Mana Cannon works at Academy Mortgage. She and I started our license around the same time, found each other through social media. She called me actually and was like, I want to interview you. And I was like, why? What? And she's like, yeah, I want to interview you. And my good friend, Jonathan Correa, did an interview with her. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll do it. So we did it, and our connection was just awesome. I did so many deals with her, and she's just the type of lender that updates you every single step of the way. And I really, really love her. So her and I were like, we got to give the community a little something. She's in her 20s as well. A lot of buyers in their 20s, doubt, I can't do it. I don't have the money. I don't have $20,000, so I can't buy a house. No, when we got licensed, USDA was the thing to do. So we were like, let's take advantage of that. Let's share 100% financing, seller's credit for closing costs. Let's get people into the house. And then it was 3% interest rates. So I think it was just a good time to start that also, right? So it was during COVID, so we had to do Zoom meetings, which made it easy for everyone to jump on. So our classes could be 5 people, it could be 30 people. So we did it once a month. There was a time where it ended up becoming 5, 6 people, the 20s and the 30s stopped. And so we were like, okay, we got to do in person because now everything's opening up. So we do in person now, and our max that we can hold is 12, which is a really good fit because during this first time home buying seminar, we do one-on-one. So you tell us a little bit about what your situation is, and she can right there give you some feedback. If you're comfortable with those 12 people that's in the group,
you want it to be intimate, right? Not like a mass.
Yeah.
You're giving a speech to a mass audience, right? You got to. Yeah. This is a relationship building exercise.
Yeah. It's super intimate. We eat food. We talk stories. They kind of see me in more of a friendly light, and that makes them more comfortable with me too. Just talking about what's going on, because the biggest thing, they say buyers are liars. Not my buyers. You don't lie to me. We're friends, You can trust me. I'm on your side. So that's the kind of relationship that we have at our home buyer seminars. But basically the seminar and the presentation is taking you from the beginning to the end of the home buying process. This is real estate, escrow, insurance, and lending. This weekend, we're going to bring in Rob Shimabuku and Luke Taniguchi from TG. But prior to that, it was just me and Mana kind of giving a little insight on the insurance and the escrow part. But after you leave that seminar, you should know exactly what you got to do to buy a house. And then within hopefully 6 months to a year, we can get you in a house.
Right. I love it. And it's so time efficient, right? Because instead of having 12 individual meetings, you can have 12 meetings all at once and move people through the process, expose them to all of these different players that are important in the whole process. Like such a good strategy. And I don't know why more people don't do it. I mean, it's one of those things, right? Just putting in the work, right? Not a secret.
Yeah.
It's not something that's well documented online on how to do it and that it works. And so, yeah, it's super awesome to do that.
It's a fun thing to do. I recommend it, and I think we're going to be seeing them more on the Kona side with some of our agents on our team.
Cool.
So yeah, it's going to be awesome.
So what about another thing you've talked to me about in the past is you kind of block your day where you work on things in the morning and then you actually do showings in the afternoon. So you kind of have time dedicated and it makes your day more predictable, right? So how does that work?
So when you're juggling 20 to 30 pre-qualified buyers, it's like, hey, Justice, this house hit the market. We got to go see it right now.
Plus 8, 9, 10 escrows at a time, right?
Oh yeah. Until 2 weeks from now, actually, and definitely lean on your team, lean on your support. But if you can, what I like to do is between 2 and 4 every day, I try not to fill out those 2 hours. So whatever happens throughout the day, I can throw in there. Okay, we got to go see this house. It just hit the market. I got time at 2:30 today, and sometimes it's shocking. People are like, what? You just have time? No, it's because you block out 2 hours. It's not to be 2 to 4, 2 hours a day of just random things that pop up that you have to get done that day. And I like to fill up my mornings because, mornings fill up so fast. So those are just meetings and emails and showings or, whatever. And then something I added to my, agenda is I'm trying to be in the same area on the same day. So I try to put all my showings, like if it's all the way up Volcano, I'm trying to put it all in one day because I noticed myself, because it's 2 to 4, I'm like, yeah, I can go. But then, when you count the 45 minutes driving, I'm like, I could have done this yesterday, So I am tweaking it a little bit right now, seeing how it works for me. But all that kind of stuff, it's gonna come to you when you're driving. You're like, oh, I could have been doing this during this drive, and then it's gonna come to you, and then you're gonna work out your schedule the way it should be.
Yeah, the golden nugget there is that in this business, you can never have a completely predictable schedule, but you can definitely dedicate when the unpredictability happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's super cool about that. Is I've never heard anybody doing that, and that's I just think a great practice that more people need to consider doing. So, okay, yeah. What else do you do that kind of brings you success or that has helped you or you've learned along the way that you wish you knew when you started?
Recently I've been doing Reels and TikToks, and this is really brand new. I don't really have a conversion schedule or anything, but I've been getting lots of calls like, hey, I saw your TikTok, this, and that. I'm from so-and-so, And I'm like, wow, I didn't think this was real. It's fun. It's good to get views. I thought maybe my farming here would see my face more, and I didn't think I was going to get farmed out in the mainland in different countries. So one of them blew up. It got like almost 250,000 views. And there was a lot of controversy on the comment section in that video, which I'm so new to. So I was like, deleting all the negative comments. But, with everything that blows up, there's going to be negative comments and people's opinions and stuff. So I'm still learning more about that, but that's definitely a huge conversion rate. I can see it already.
Yeah, there's just such a difference when it's on video or on social media. How again, relationships, right? You may not be talking to them personally, but when you're a picture on a postcard, there's no relationship building there. If they can see your personality and see how you talk and see what your mannerisms are, there's a personal connection there, even though it's not personal. That is much higher level than just sending out a mailer or the traditional putting an ad in a newspaper or something like that. So that's super cool.
Exactly. It's hard to fake a video. This is who you are, and how the other person receives it is they're basically interviewing you and beating you to the point, because they wouldn't call you if they didn't see that connection too, right?
Absolutely. So you're also a believer when it comes to video in just like getting it done, right? And not making it perfect. So let's talk about that.
Yep. There's this one reel that I posted. It's just bloopers, because as you know, with videos, you're constantly making mistakes. You're forgetting your script. You're doing this, you're doing that. And I had a ton of them. So I threw them all together, and I was like, here, this is what it really looks like. This is my day. Things are falling. My hair is this way, whatever, And the point of it was just post it, just get it out there. If it's valuable information, someone's going to benefit from it. Even if it's just one person, get it out there. Definitely try, a little bit. Try to do your best, but it doesn't have to be perfect, in my opinion.
Done is better than perfect.
Absolutely.
you're the most critical person that's going to watch it, because everybody else is going to overlook that stuff, right? Like you think like, oh, you stumble over your words or you misspeak or something like that, and it's like nobody even cares. Nobody ever catches it. Yeah. Or the best is some of the most responsive videos I've had is like when I misspell something in the thumbnail or the description, and all my aunties that want to make sure I look smart will call me and tell me that oh, you got a misspelling. Oh, thank you. Or even clients will reach out and try and correct you because they don't want you to be embarrassed. So it's that's a good thing, right?
On Facebook is like, you can't misspell nothing on Facebook. Ivory's on it. This. She'll screenshot like my post and she'll like write on it with a pen. I'm like, if there's that much edits, I'm gonna just delete it. So good, though. She's the best to proofread.
Us public school graduates not the best at English, so
Yeah. Well, we can talk though.
Yes. Okay, so do you have what advice would you have for either somebody thinking about getting into real estate or maybe just getting started that will help them in their journey?
My advice is, to do it. When you go to college for 8 years to become a doctor, you can't just say you don't want to be a doctor, but for real estate, spend 6 months of your life, get that license, pay those dues. Those dues add up to, honestly, the gas you spend in a year. Pay those dues and just try it. If it doesn't work out, you wasted 12 months of your life, and you probably opened up a door for something else. Because if it doesn't work out, you've met so much people that something else is going to open up. I wish that I did it when I was 18. I know I shouldn't be like, oh no, I started when I was 22, but the sooner the better. I would have been studying real estate on my senior year if I had known what I know now. Just do it,
Yeah, that's a perspective I share a lot about. People say it's too expensive to go to the school and then activate your license and then pay MLS dues, pay the board dues, and it's not cheap, right? It's $3,000 a year to have to get your license to an active situation where you can actually start doing business. Mm-hmm. But if you think about it, you can do that in less than 6 months, and you potentially in a very short amount of time can have a multi-six-figure income. Where if you're gonna go be a doctor, you're gonna go to college for like 8 to 10 years, before you can even get started, and then have a bunch of debt, $250,000, $500,000 in debt in student loans and stuff. So yeah, it's such a huge opportunity, such a low barrier to entry, but again, not that many people make it because a lot of self-discipline is required, right? To get out there and do the work and put the time in and do the stuff that you're not comfortable with. So, but yeah, you're a shining example that's definitely possible.
There's a ton of like waitressing, for example. I loved it. Did I want to do it every day? Absolutely not. So I sat there and I was like, I would rather cold call people for 20 hours than go into this 8-hour shift, and leave crying. So you weigh your options. If you're working, what would you rather do? Because the worst part about real estate is dependent on you. Everyone has their own worst. Mine was cold calling. I didn't want to do it. I was like, no, it's the worst thing I want to do. And I still would do that over whatever else was my option. So you got to just make it black and white, right?
Totally. Okay, so to wrap up here, if there's an agent out there that's maybe struggling, or another brokerage doesn't feel the love or the support that they need, what would you tell them? Because we don't call them, right? We're not going to call them.
Yeah, we're going to attract you. Tell them that your surroundings is so important. Your joy is so important. Who's supporting you is so important. You owe it to yourself to grow your business, and to do that, you have to interview the agency team Hawaii and see what we can offer you. And then if not us, see what anyone else can offer you. If you're with Exp, you're on the right track. And then if you're with the agency team Hawaii, then you're good to go, in my opinion.
So call us, right? Call Justice. If you see what she's doing and you are impressed, you want to emulate that, you want to have access to that. That's one of my favorite things about this company is that everybody has a mindset of abundance, right? And a mindset of collaboration and sharing. And anybody can call me at any time. I'll tell them. And there's no secrets, right? Same thing with Justice. You call her and ask her what she does. We just did an event back in May that she spoke at and shared all of her 45 minutes of the things that she does to bring her success. And it's not like in most places where people see you as competition and they don't want to tell you anything because you might take their listing or take their buyer. That mindset doesn't exist. And like you said, your environment matters, right? And if you're around an abundance mindset environment, there's no way that abundance doesn't come your way. So All right, anything else you want to say to wrap up here?
I want to say thank you so much for having me, Dylan. I'm so appreciative and grateful to be on the team and to have done this interview with you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for finally signing up to do it.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm glad we were
wanted to
delayed because I'm so happy that we scheduled this after you made Icon, because we would have had to have done another one.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Right on. I'll let you get back to work. Thanks for coming on.
Bye.